Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Think it may be time. The new year is here and your recovery starts now. I think that's wise, wouldn't you say? We're here with the CEO and owner of Your Recovery Counseling, and that's yourrecoverystarts.com to talk more about the work she does and how she's helping people. Sadigoh, Galloway, thank you and welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Excited to have you here. Please introduce yourself to everyone.
So I'm Sadigoh Galloway. I'm the CEO at Your Recovery Counseling. I hold a couple of professional licenses, more than 5, dually certified, and I'm here to let people know where to come for help.
And you're based out of Ohio, right?
Beechwood, Ohio. We're located in Beechwood, Ohio, right off of Interstate I-271.
Beautiful. And let me ask, you're working with people of those just in Ohio, or can you work with people out of state too?
No, so currently we're licensed to service folks that are Ohio residents. Maybe as time moves forward, we'll do some reciprocity and reach out to other or neighboring states. But for right now, Ohio residents only.
Beautiful. Well, tell us a little bit about what you do and the type of work that Your Recovery Starts can help people with.
So Your Recovery Counseling was founded on the concept that recovery does work. So we see a lot of folks who have untreated mental health issues or untreated substance use and or addiction issues. And we kind of help them resolve some of the core problems, modify behavior, and enjoy the best life that they can live. So, that's pretty much what we do over here.
Beautiful. Well, let's get to know you if you don't mind. Let's back up. Tell us where you're from and how did your journey end up here to help others with counseling?
So I'm born and raised here in Cleveland, Ohio. I grew up in the urban area, and growing up in the inner city, I witnessed a lot of untreated mental health. Unfortunately, I witnessed a lot of alcoholism and substance use within the community and the surrounding community. And so I always had a passion to want to help people, do much better than they were, than what I saw. And so that kind of motivated me to go to school for social work. I ended up in social services. Worked for a lot of the great dinosaur agencies. And ended up, incorporating all of the skills and talents that had been deposited in me into birthing this agency, Your Recovery Counseling.
Perfect. Well, thank you for joining us and being here. Let's break it down. You mentioned some of the specifics. So those that are suffering, you mentioned with, let's say, gambling, for instance, right? How do people come to you? Because that's also a personal thing to admit, hey, we have a problem, right? And we've all have problems, but it's also hard to take that accountability factor. So how do you kind of step in? How do you how does someone reach out? And what would you say to someone who may be listening today with some sort of addiction that needs the help?
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up. The first thing they would need to do is call. And it does. It takes a lot of courage to admit to yourself that, you're struggling with an issue and you're not being successful with winning, And so, folks that are struggling with issues with problem gambling or disordered gambling, they can just give us a call directly at 216-483-1001. Again, 216-483-1001. Or they can follow us at yourrecoverystarts.com, and they can schedule their appointment right from the website. It'll show different availability days and times, and they can pick which works best for them. It's very difficult for people to reach out for help, or for people to reach out for support, but the help and the support is here. Healing begins with you. And so make that first phone call.
And you're working with individuals. Also, do you do group therapy too?
Yeah, absolutely. We do individual counseling, but we also provide intensive outpatient group therapy. And so what that is, that's a more intense level of care. And that runs for like 3 hours a day for 3 days a week. And I know it sounds kind of, extensive, but it does give a lot of folks who don't have support an opportunity to develop their own positive recovery supportive community and have some vicarious learning going on. Then we also have regular outpatient groups, which is a 90-minute group once a day, once a week. And same thing, building sober support, recovery supports,
Mm-hmm.
you know, adding some positive tools to their tool belt.
Got it. And let me ask this now, for someone who's been in the field, how did the pandemic with mental health affect you and your clients?
Yeah, the pandemic, was really it was a tragedy, right? On a lot of different levels.
Yeah.
But what we've seen is an increasing number of folks reaching out for services. What we've seen is people recognizing that their mental health and their emotional well-being is just as important as a physical doctor's appointment. So they're reaching out, to schedule that first appointment, right? To start to develop some goals and some objectives to pulling themselves out of that rabbit hole. And so the pandemic, it was a tragedy on a lot of different levels. But the one thing that I saw that was good that came out of it was that people are now speaking up for themselves in regards to their mental health.
Yeah, that is true. I agree. The mental health awareness, it's much more talked about. I feel like a lot more people getting the help and the treatment they need because they feel they're not alone.
Mhm.
And let me ask, with your services, is the your state of Ohio doesn't accept insurance? Is it out of pocket, or how does that work with somebody who may be interested in working with you?
So yeah, I mean, we accept private insurance. We also accept Ohio Medicaid. So it's like a subsidy
Mm-hmm.
insurance for folks. We do also accept self-pay. So we do have a sliding scale fee for folks that don't have insurance or for whatever reason are not using their insurance. We do have a sliding fee scale to make the services more affordable so that finances is not a barrier to their well-being.
Got it. And by the way, just going on the website, some people saying Morgan says, I honestly received the best service I could have asked for. They were super professional. Do it. They met all my needs and helped me a lot. Ron says this program saved my life. I was in bad shape when I called them, but the staff believed in me more than I believed in myself, and that helped put me on the right path. Someone else named Kimberly mentions that her experience was awesome. At first, I wasn't sure if it was worth getting a new start at life. The staff was so supportive and didn't rush me. They really did meet me where I was. And so far, I've been great for 3 months now. So there's some great stories here and great testimonials. Is there any that you want to share about a client or two without using their name, but how you and your company have helped them along their journey of healing?
Absolutely. Well, there was one client, a lady who came in. She had a stroke a couple years ago. And
Mm-hmm.
as a result of the stroke, every emotion that she attempted to convey would come out in crying and tears. So if you gave her a compliment, she would
Really?
cry. If she,
Wow.
it was just tears. So, uh, you know, over a period of time, the staff here was able to help her identify her feelings and gain some stress management, is what I'll say, and so that she could demonstrate how she was feeling so that other people could respond accordingly. And I just really think that was a very touching case that we had here,
Yeah.
because a lot of the tears was coming as a result of some things that had changed with her mentally as a result of the stroke, but then also how she was feeling emotionally, how life had changed. And so she was struggling with demonstrating emotions. And then we also had a young man who came in for gambling. This was another client. He came in he had stole some money out of his mother's purse like the day before he came in. And I mean, he was really at his lowest point. He said that he had never done that before. And, that is really what pushed him over to reach out for services. This young man came in, we got a treatment plan going, developed some goals together, negotiated some goals, set out some objectives for him. And he has been debt free since March of 2023. So he's coming up on 1 year, and so
Amazing.
again, recovery works, people can get better,
Mm-hmm.
it's just that the healing begins with you. You have to give yourself uh, a chance, being a best version of yourself or a better version of yourself has to become an option, and if you're unmotivated or you just don't feel like you're worth it, give us a call at 216-483-1001 and let us help build you up until you can stand on your own.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. All right. And at this time of the show, would you mind sharing again how we can reach out to you, please?
Absolutely. Our phone number is 216-483-1001, Your Recovery Counseling, 216-483-1001, or follow us on our website at yourrecoverystarts.com. We're also on all social media platforms, Your Recovery Counseling.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. All right. What else in particular did you want to share for those listening out there about your services and why you do what you do?
Well, we do what we do because we want to help people. Everyone deserves to have some sort of happiness, whatever that looks like for them. Everyone's version of a good life looks different for each individual. And so if you're not feeling your greatest, or you're not, you're feeling down in the dumps, that's not a healthy place for anyone. And so that's why we do what we do. We want people to have an opportunity to enjoy this journey while they're here.
Oh, I know. It's so sad. It's so true. Life is so preciously short. And with the new year, here, obviously just the past few days, I think it's a perfect time to incite people to say, put that New Year's resolution to the test, right?
Yes.
Do you get a lot of people around this time of year?
Oh, absolutely. When the seasons change, different holidays, it does kind of create an ebb and flow with folks reaching out for services. But yes, the new year has happened and we've been getting calls and, scheduling appointments. And we're very excited and happy, about that, whatever the motivation is that helps you pick up the phone and call. Let's work with that, and, over a period of time, you may end up staying and doing it for yourself.
Yeah, no, I get it. This is fascinating because in the path in the career you're working, you're helping so many. And what does that mean to you? And who do you credit, who did you get your help from when you needed it most?
Oh, there's a couple things there. I learned so much. Well, I got a lot, of course, from the universities, from school, uh, but I will also say just life experience, and unfortunately, a lot of the greatest things that I've learned has been at the expense of other folks struggling, that I've witnessed prior to getting into the helping profession, and so that has really stayed with me. It had stayed stuck and true, and is what I'll say, and it really fuels the fire for me to want to give back, and help these folks because a lot of people don't realize that there is a solution. They just don't realize that, and so I like to let folks know that there is another way. There is a way out. You're not trapped, you know. And again, for me, I've been mentored by the best, professionally and just folks just in everyday life. I've been very fortunate to have folks on a professional end mentor me that's been in the social services field for over 40 years, when mental health and substance use merged together, from back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I've had, those are the folks that have mentored me. They've been in the field longer than I've been alive. I'll say that.
Yeah. And could you, would you mind sharing a little bit about the team that works with how many counselors do you have? They have different specialties. Could you share a little bit about the rest of the team that you have?
Absolutely. So we have five counselors. We have three that are licensed social workers.
Hmm.
We have one that is strictly chemical dependency, and then we have another provider that is a dual role. So they have their social work credential and then also a substance use disorder credential, and that's the clinical team there. We have female staff, we have male staff. Our staff is a reflection of the population that we serve.
Hmm.
So they're pretty diverse from race and ethnicity, age wise. Our staff, I think, and I'm not going to tell on anyone's age, but I think the youngest staff member that we have, and they do program work, front office stuff. I think that young lady is 19. And then the eldest staff that we have, I believe she is 55,
Wow.
and then we have staff that are in between. We have there's somebody for everybody,
Yeah.
and they're definitely competent in their scope of practice. They stay current with the most latest evidence-based practice or clinical interventions. They have a heart.
Yeah.
They have a heart that cares, and they have their own personal story or journey for what has led them to want to help people as well.
Mm.
But I think your recovery counseling, I think we're pretty fortunate. We have a solid group of staff here that is professionally competent and that has a humanistic heart, And so when you have those two things that
Hmm.
complement each other, what can you, it's just goodness,
Well,
it's
yeah,
nothing
it's a
but
recipe
goodness.
for success and to help
Yes,
everybody win and succeed.
yes.
And I mean, you work with everyone at their own different pace, and which is good to know as well. You offer an initial discovery call if someone's interested.
Yes, yes, you call it the discovery call. I like
Or
that. That's
is that
nice.
what it,
I like
right?
that
Is that
discovery
what
call.
it, initial
Yeah,
consult? I don't know what, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
some
So we
people call it
offer,
that.
it's okay. I like that though, the discovery call. We may use that. We offer a 15-minute free virtual consultation,
Hmm.
free or phone, free consultation, 15 minutes. And during that period of time, if you call, you can let us know, what the presenting problem or what's the biggest issue that you have going on that's stressing you out, that's causing you grief or worry or what have you. And we can tell you a little bit about the services that we provide, see if that's something that you're interested in. And if so, we can go ahead and get you scheduled for a full comprehensive assessment. So, that's what we offer.
And around this time, the holidays, you find there's a lot more depression, anxiety, even people with thoughts of suicide. What would you say to those struggling during this time of year?
So if you're struggling during this time of year, there's a couple things. So if you don't have any like self-harm, plans or anything like that, and you're struggling, 988 is also a good resource,
Mm-hmm.
not 911, 988 is a really good resource. SAMHSA has came out with it, and it's a support line for folks that just may be a little depressed, just need someone to talk to, a
Mm-hmm.
quick pick her up. But if you are having thoughts of self-harm, at all, please, by all means, dial 911. If you are looking for a regimen uh, uh, of change, if you need to develop support, you know, if you are unsure of what your goal actually is, if you want to feel better, if you want better outcomes, call a better
Mm-hmm.
agency. Give us a call, Your Recovery Counseling, 216-483-1001.
Perfect. Well, we still got more time in the show. I'm not cutting you short. We got 4 more minutes left to talk about all the amazing work you're doing and those that you're helping. What else
Well,
did you want to add for the conversation for today?
Well, I did want to add this because we didn't speak yesterday. So last time I think we spoke, it was a couple weeks ago, before the holidays, and we had this wonderful holiday party, for our clients, and they came and they ate good, and
Mm-hmm.
had gifts and just all sorts of things. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful community give back. We reached so many people, and then after that, because that was in-house in the office, after that, we had staff and family members, and they actually went into the community and passed out gifts to women and kids. And the young lady told me there was a guy pushing a stroller with like 5 bags and 2 kids, and and they gave them gifts. And the season of giving, it would be great if the season of giving presented 365 days a year. But what a beautiful thing, to be able to impact
Mm-hmm.
folks' lives on a positive note. It really was, it was very beautiful, and so I did want to share that with the people in regards to, maybe needing some assistance.
Yeah.
Some people, you may need some assistance in some areas: food, clothing, insurance, healthcare. If you have other needs that are not being met, you can give us a call. 216-483-1001, Your Recovery Counseling. If you have unmet needs, give us a call. We have case managers. Our staff, they wear multiple hats. So they're not just here, to kind
Yeah.
of listen and guide you, on substance use or gambling or depression. If the underlying issue for your symptoms is because you have unmet needs, then let us know what they are so we can kind
Perfect.
of help find some resources,
Right.
address those needs. And maybe the substance use, the depression, the problem gambling, those are symptoms, won't be a factor.
Beautiful. And if you are out of state, not in Ohio, still there's numbers to call. There's people,
Oh
and I'm
yeah.
sure you can get advice, right? Give
Yeah,
advice.
absolutely. I mean, now if they're out of state, we can see if you're out of state, but we're not contracted with out of state insurance carriers, so they would have to pay out of pocket.
Got it.
But yeah, absolutely. If you're out of state, contact your local Adams board or something. Get those resources. Get you some supportive phone numbers. That 988 crosses every state.
Yeah.
So regardless of where you're at, if
Good. Yeah.
you need some
Good
assistance,
point. Yeah.
dial 988, and they will link you to some supports in your area. Tell them Your Recovery Counseling sent you.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here and looking forward to the next time we get to connect. Have a fantastic day and enjoy the rest of the first week of New Year's. Exciting,
Happy New
right?
Year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year to you and to all of our listeners. Stay tuned. Thank you. We'll be right back with more. Don't go anywhere. Bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.